Some great West Coast Conference college basketball coming your way on this Monday night from Spokane, Washington, as the Gonzaga Bulldogs, fresh off one of the worst losses for this program, frankly, in years. We'll talk about that in a minute. Takes on the USF Dons in what might be a trap game for the Gonzaga Bulldogs, and it's here tonight on the WCC Network on Stadium. It is so great to have you with us alongside Connor Gilbert. I'm Greg Talbot, and Connor, let's not even waste our time talking about anything else. Gonzaga with an absolutely brutal loss to BYU on Saturday. Had the chance to take over first place in the conference with that win. They blew it in the second half. They lost it. Straight up, what happened? Just a disastrous third quarter is the story of that game. They came into the second half with a 25-14 advantage on rebounds and got Judkins went big, and they out-rebounded 27-13 in the second half. Only scored 3 points in the second half. Just 48 called it an absolute meltdown. That feels apt. They're looking for a big bounce back today. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was a meltdown. It does say something when your top performer only had 10 points and 7 rebounds. That's not good enough against a team that was ranked 16 in the country. Yeah, absolutely. We're going into this with lots to look for. 48 said, I hope I come up with something smart in between now and then. That's exactly right. So USF sending their starting lineup on the floor. Amelie Langer, Jessica McDowell-White, Ayana Kremili, Kennedy Dickey, and Lakeisha Kostick will be their starting five. And boy, let me tell you, Connor, Kremili, she is one of the best shooters in the WCC straight up. It's a true dual threat guard. Dropped 25 on Pepperdine and surpassed 1,000 career points. She's their best scorer, most reliable shooter, and assist option. So she's the one to look for here. And now as the Gonzaga Bulldogs get ready to take the court here in the Kennel, we'll stand aside for the natural sights and sounds of one of the best college basketball atmospheres in America. There's the starting lineup tonight for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Kayla Trong, Sierra Walker, Anna Maria Verjoge, Abby O'Connor, and Melody Kempton. That's pretty much what they've been doing for the vast majority of the year there, Connor. Yeah, slightly larger lineup. O'Connor really can shoot, but she's a bigger guard. She can defend forwards. This is a standard lineup here. Kaylee Trong still leading Gonzaga's scoring. So let's talk about this Gonzaga Bulldogs team and kind of the psychology of what Saturday happened there, because like you said, they blew it in the second half. They were outscored 42-15 in the third and fourth quarters. How badly do they want to bounce back win here? They don't really have any other options. I mean, another loss in WCC play probably drops them firmly off the bubble, which they've already been firmly seated on the whole season. They have yet to find that big marquee win, and the BYU game was probably their biggest opportunity. That's exactly right. About a week or a week and a half ago, last time we saw bracketology, the Zags were first 4 out. And with that loss against BYU, it pretty much means that they would have to beat BYU and Provo in a couple of weeks if they want even a shot in an at-large. They cannot lose any more games in the WCC. Here come the Zags controlling possession here on offense to get us underway. Abby O'Connor out top. She had a great game against Pacific back on Thursday. Actually, kind of everyone did, Connor. The forwards had an unbelievable shooting night against the Tigers, and Abby very nearly gets it started again as she does chase down her own rebound. And here comes Kaylee Trong.
Nice penetration from Kaylee. She's the one who's initiating all of this for the most part.
Here's Anna Maria Verjoge. She stepped out of bounds. Sends it back the other way. So let's talk a little bit more, Connor, about that BYU game and really what it means to this team. There is still a chance they can make it into the tournament as an at-large if BYU ends up winning, as they are statistically expected to do in Vegas at the WCC tournament, as that three is way off the mark from Kennedy Dickey. But like we said, it basically ensures they've got to win in Provo on the 17th.
And the WCC tournament, Vegas hasn't been kind to Gonzaga, especially against BYU in years past. It's not something that they can really count on.
Not a lot of score in the first minute so far. Still waiting for everyone to get on the board as Jessica McDowell brings it across. One of the best passing point guards in the WCC, almost 100 assists already this year. Camila kicks it out to McDowell. Interesting movement so far as McDowell's underneath for two. So you don't always see her taking it for double-digit points a game. She really is more of a passer and a defender. She's got 30 steals this year, but Connor, they're kind of opening it up for their non-scoring point guard to start the game. That sends almost a signal.
Yeah, it looks like they're willing to move it around a lot more. The high-low action is a nice look. That's a thing that we've seen is a problem with their defense with the switching on that high-low.
Zags had a look at a second chance, and it's going to be Gonzaga ball as that went off the hands last of Amelie Langer, the 5'9" redshirt junior out of Denmark. They've got to watch out for her on offense.
Love to see them get the ball to Mel here and start working it around a little bit more high-low. Same thing with Anna Maria.
You know, it really is interesting. So often the Gonzaga men's program was noted for their high-low action. Last couple of years, Gonzaga women really been going to it to good effect.
I mean, the Worth twins were the archetype for that. And we can see how well it works with Mel. She's athletic. She moves. She has good ball movement, good understanding. She's able to slip through those screens. And Anna Maria is just so tall. She's taller than most teams' starting centers. She can really get it done there.
Yep. And here she is on defense, guarding Kostick out top. And man, they're sending McDowell around a lot of screens. They have their players moving. Cormelia back to McDowell, 14 to shoot, puts up not a bad shot. And a great yank down by Melody.
A classic Mel Kempton board. She's outside so often, but she is so fundamentally, we were talking about this earlier, she just boxes out so well, fundamentally strong. O'Connor dribbled it.
And the travel there from Abby O'Connor. She was going to square up, and Cormelia got in her face, and she dragged a foot. So a slow, strange, kind of sloppy start to this one for both teams. But with USF running on offense here again, Connor, I'm struck by the way they're getting McDowell and Cormelia open around screens.
Yeah, they're really moving a lot more aggressively than they have in the past, and I think they understand they want those switches. You see another one, Mel there, just burned on the corner.
There's McDowell. That was a good look, just not a great shot. As Verjoga is there for the rebound. And here comes Kaylee Trong. Didn't hit double digits against BYU the other night, but man, was she really doing everything. 9 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds.
Yeah, and Kaylee in transition is really the most underrated aspect.
And that's going to be foul on Langer for sure. So she's all over the floor in these first couple of minutes.
But like I was saying, Kaylee, when she gets able to open up in transition, especially when she's playing with her sister, they both know the speed at which they can move. And it's great when they zip the ball across the court. I'd love to see Kaylee get more open looks and something less messy than what's going on right now.
Early sub in here for USF. Claudia Langarita comes in to relieve Kostick. That one will be off the hands. It looks, well, referees will take a second on this one. It's going to be Gonzaga ball, even though USF thought it was not. So Langarita, who just checked in, number 22 there, clog in the middle, had an unbelievable game last time out, dropped 20-6 against Pepperdine. And here's O'Connor. She's been touching it a lot the first couple of minutes. Stolen away, no foul by O'Connor. And it's Cremeli in transition, caught underneath the basket. They'll take their time. Dickey shoots another three, and this one goes down. And the Dons out to a 5-0 start. Dickey really hot recently. Double-double last time out against Pepperdine, 13 and 13. Interesting thing about her is, you know, she's listed at 6 feet. She looks and plays taller. She almost shoots like a forward.
She actually had 4 steals in their last game, so she's showing a lot of ability to keep up with guards. And
that was Dickey who tipped it out of bounds, so Gonzaga will get this one back. And Kaylin Trong will check in alongside Yvonne Ejim, who has, gosh, just been sensational off the bench the last couple of months.
Not many players have, or not many teams have players arguably their best who comes off the bench.
WCC 6th Man of the Year favorite?
I can see that. I can't imagine anyone else who's contributed as much off the bench.
Over and back by Jessica McDowell, Zag ball. And Ejim's here to inbound. With both the Trongs on the floor. I always think it's so fun when they play together.
I enjoy it as well. They're actually averaging the exact same amount of assists per game right now.
And until the BYU game, they were averaging the same amount of points per game as well.
Isn't that absurd?
Just clones. Kempton drives, foul on the floor. That's on USF.
But even then, you can see those subtle differences in their game. I mean, Kaylee's a distributor, but she's also a little less risk averse. And I think Kaylin likes to go for the bigger plays. Kaylee's more like the stable point guard. Kaylin is where you bring in when you're trying to get the offense rolling like they need right now.
Yeah, we're 4.5 minutes in. Gonzaga has not put a basket down until now. There's Melody Kempton getting things underway.
It's another classic Mel basket. Just put the ball down, drive.
Cremeli goes back the other way, tries to respond, no. And Ejim there for the rebound. All right, next dead ball will take us to a timeout down here near inside 5 minutes in the first quarter. Bulldogs having a hard time cracking this nut on offense. Here's Yvonne Ejim. That was not a bad look. Gets a rebound, foul on the Zags on the come down.
It's a good take by Ejim. It's just difficult when...
Michaela Williams will check in off the bench after this commercial break. Man, not a lot of offense so far, and USF looking really good out of the gate. 5-2 Dons on the WCC network on Stadium. These USF Dons off to a hot start, 5-2, really holding Gonzaga scoreless with the exception of that Melody Kempton layup just a second ago. And Connor, there's a reason people in the WCC were saying that Gonzaga's got to watch out for this game after the emotional high and then crash the BYU game. USF may technically be 6-5 in the conference, but they've won 6 of their last 7. They are absurdly hot right now.
And that win over Pepperdine was monumental. The offense hasn't played that well in such a long time. Cornelia is really scoring. She's averaged over 15 points in each of the last 6 games. She's been a huge part of that for them.
There's Lang around her screen. She's got a good angle that time, not a good shot. And here comes Kaylin Trong back the other way.
The Dons are up 5-2 right now, despite getting out-rebounded 7-2.
Out to Trong. Good look on the step around. Williams came flying in for the board. It was Yvonne Ejim that got it. Second chance, no. Sierra there to gather. And the Zags will reset. And Ejim wide open. Well, that'll break what was a pretty abhorrent first 5 minutes. Going into that first time out, we just had Gonzaga 1 for 6 from the floor.
Had to go with 5 turnovers.
Not a great start. And Verjoge all over Caustic there. And it's going to be on Verjoge. So a little bit more about this USF team. They started West Coast Conference play 0-4. Since then, they're 6-1. They're right up there. Now, Connor, correct me if I'm wrong. It seems to me they've been so hot recently that you could put them on the floor against Portland or Gonzaga or even BYU on the right night, and USF could beat anybody right now.
Based on the way they've been shooting and the amount of three-point shots that they take too, they can keep them in any game if they continue like playing this aggressive, like moving offense the way they have been.
At this rate, blew up Pepperdine in their last game, 78-57.
And in that Pepperdine game, they also show the ability to resist runs. It's something they struggled with earlier in the year. Pepperdine isn't a bad team, and they put up their dukes in the third quarter, and they made an 8-point run, and USF was able to get back in there.
Cornelia, not a pretty shot, but gets it to go down regardless. Puts it back to a 3-point game here with 3:10 to go in the first. Funny thing about that Pepperdine game, Gonzaga, notably a team that always spreads it around scoring-wise, as Yvonne Ejim gets one more coming. USF, Connor, the opposite. In that Pepperdine game, Cornelia, Langarita, and Dickey, 3 players, scored 58 out of the 78 points.
Yeah, it's those top players. I mean, Cornelia is really such a threat, but when Dickey gets involved, they've been showing that like those top 3 are just hard to deal with by any other team's top 3.
Now Cornelia's going to make a push this year for WCC first team as Ejim gets her free throw down. And we got ourselves a tie game.
Newcomer of the year in 2021.
Yep. Little push defense early on with some press from the Zags. Don't usually see that early in a game from them, but that's an impressive call from Lisa Fortier.
I think it suits this lineup, though. I mean, Williams is so long, as is O'Connor and Ejim, and all these athletic players. We only have one like smaller guard out here, and so I think using that length for now and just seeing where we go with it.
Cornelia doing it solo. The 5'10" redshirt sophomore from Greece. Williams can't get over Dickey in the corner. And off the foot of Yvonne Ejim, sends it back the Dons' way. Zags looking out of sorts so far in this first quarter. Does not resemble the team that we saw in the first quarter against BYU, the first half we saw against BYU on Saturday.
As Fortier said after that BYU game, talking about prepping for this game, she said, "We've all had bad hangovers; they can bite you," and that was going to be part of her message at practice on Sunday.
This offense is playing a little bit hungover, though. Got to say, Connor, that one goes out of bounds. Back to USF. And Jessica McDowell will check in back in. Couple of really good point guards on this roster. We just saw Jasmine Gales running the point, and she's going to stay in the game here as an off guard out at the top of the key now. And it's interesting, Connor. She's kind of like their version of Yvonne Ejim. She scores 13 in the game, and she comes off the bench.
Yeah, she's a Northern Colorado transfer. This is her first season, but she's become an integral part of this offense. 13 points a game, like you mentioned. Secondary scoring option. It takes the pressure off of Camille, and you can see how that's working now. I mean, you have to respect her from deep just as much as you do with Camille.
Ejim, not quite enough space. Clears for O'Connor. She was waiting there, and the shot just would not go down. Abby so far 0 for 2 from 3. She's tried twice. So I'll stay with the Dons. Well, subs back in for the Zags. Melody Kempton and Kaylin Trong in off the bench. And Mariana Klavina making her first appearance for USF, the junior out of Latvia. If it seems like we're saying a lot of foreign country names in terms of the rosters for USF, boy, are we. 11 out of 16 of the players on their roster are from overseas. That's just amazing.
It's been a thing for them for the last few years.
So cool.
The rosters have had so many international players, and they've developed a lot of transfers as well.
The Gonzaga men and women's program, certainly no stranger to that, but USF just so cool to look at their roster every year as Langarita's 3 will not go. Here comes Kaylee. Had a little space there on the clear out. And they'll take their time. O'Connor will try her third 3. That one was closer than the other 2, but Abby off to a cold start at the moment.
Yeah, she had a rough shooting game against BYU too, so she's trying to just get it going.
Sierra Walker notably not in the game, and speaking of taking 3s, usually I see her out here around now trying to get one to go down. 15 seconds to go in the quarter. And it'll be the Zags who get the last look as that one goes out of bounds. So no shot clock, 12 seconds on the game clock. Zags will hold to try to make this a 1-possession game as we go into the break. Trong for 3. Last second shot here for McDowell. That one's not going to go into the end of one. USF looking really good and hot out of the gate. They've won 6 of their last 7, and we can see why. It's 11-7 Dons at the end of one on the WCC Network on Stadium. Eleven to 7 USF at the end of the first quarter tonight on the WCC Network on Stadium. Greg Talbot and Connor Gilbert with 4. The Zags, meanwhile, is a team 0 for 5 from downtown, but look who's in the game to try to correct that. Sierra Walker currently on the right wing as Melody Kempton spins that one through at a weird angle, but you'll take it. And look at USF coming back so quickly in transition. Cremili behind the back. What a sequence. In right place, right time for Verjoge.
I like Bree Salenbein switched in here. I like that by Lisa. Salenbein had a really strong game against BYU and amazing game against Pacific. So I'm curious to see where we go.
McDowell's shot won't go down as Bree gets the rebound. You know, people have been having this conversation for a couple of months now since Salenbein got into the program. Obviously, they eventually see her probably as their starting 3, potentially starting 2. But, you know, with the graduations that are certainly going to come at the end of this year, where do we see her next year?
I could see her being a contributor next year. She's already stepped up so much more since the beginning of the season. Her mid-range is one of the best on the team, and she just has an understanding of spacing that exceeds her age. And it's really fun to watch her play, and she's gotten a lot more confident in her three-point shot.
Here's Kempton again, really going hard in the paint. And speaking of hard in the paint, Kennedy Dickey comes flying in for a big-time board. Watching Cremili in person for the first time, Connor, she's really impressive running this offense.
Yeah, Cremili is excellent. And, I mean, she's leading them right now, but she really isn't dominating the ball. She's not that kind of ISO heavy. Like, she works well within their offense, and that's why I think it's been so suited to her.
Melody Kempton with the board. Eliza Hollingsworth setting a screen for Sierra Walker. And man, was Eliza great on Thursday against Pacific. A couple of deep threes. It kind of gives you a preview of what you think they want for her in the next couple of years.
Yeah, Eliza, I love her ability to stretch the floor and shoot. She can go get boards. She helps with your size advantage, but she doesn't become an issue for you in the paint. She doesn't take up too much space. She really fits in well with like this kind of lineup that we see next year, which is going to be really long guards, tall guards, and just lots of shooting all around.
A huge deep three from Cremili. That would have been almost NBA range. Zags a chance to cut this back even a little bit closer here with Strong and Hollingsworth getting all bottled up as Bree Salenbein announces her entrance from the corner from stage right.
Such a smooth shooting stroke.
And in response, there's Langer. Give it right back. All 3 of these.
Just as smooth.
We didn't see a lot of three-point shooting out of Bree Salenbein earlier in the year. I love that her confidence is getting to the point where she can do that early in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she doesn't fear like missing, getting pulled out. She understands now what her role is, and it's go in, play defense, space out, and take the shots that work for you. And things have been working for her.
Dickey open for it, and there's Hollingsworth with the rebound. Potentially starting 4 next year, who knows? Melody rushed that one down low.
Another tough take from Melody. She keeps getting in position, but the finishes are just a little short.
Cremili took that one herself with a second chance for Langarita. Wide open. And Sierra Walker chases it down to the corner. Sierra's only shot once so far, and we're midway through the second quarter. They'd love to get her going as Salenbein takes a 3 from Yakima.
Might have been ill-advised.
And a couple of big subs in off the bench. Gonzaga's going to send Abby O'Connor, Yvonne Ejim, and Kaylin Trong back out there as Melody and Sierra go back to the bench along with Verjoge. Back the other way. Nice take there from O'Connor. The Zags continue to be limp from 3. 1 for 9 so far from beyond the arc. And it's interesting here, Connor. The Zags are trying a lot of different people on Cremili. Now it's Abby O'Connor, and that height thing makes sense. But if Cremili's running the offense, you know, where Abby's really more of a 3.
Yeah, I like the idea. Abby is being a little bit bigger, but see with these screens, she's struggling to get around these screens, and Cremili just slithers off of them. And it's opening up opportunities for Langarita.
There's Trong. Wide open to Ejim. Pretty sequence. Zags have missed a couple of layups right underneath.
The easy ones just are not falling right now.
Trong able to keep her feet in bounds and sends this one back the other way. That's good. Make that now 6 turnovers for both teams. Zags very turnover prone in the first 5 minutes. Since then, they've locked it down.
Yeah, you can tell that the offense has become a little bit more focused.
O'Connor will try another 3. Just a bit off to the left. And they'll get a second chance at this one. Now 1 for 10 from beyond the arc. Speaking of 3s, here's Hollingsworth. That was not a bad one. But this team could use a timeout, and they're going to get one at the next dead ball, thankfully. Here's Gales. Been pretty quiet so far. Stolen away. A strong defense working wonders.
Picked her pocket.
Zags only down 5. Can Ejim cut it to 3? We'll find out as she shoots free throws on what will be the other end of this commercial break. So the Zags hanging in there, but USF playing with a lot of energy and a lot of fire, and they lead by 5 midway through the second on the WCC network on Stadium. More than 4 minutes to go in the first half. Zags down 5 to USF, and as Johan Ejim goes to the free throw line here, Connor Gilbert, we said at the beginning of the game, this is a potential trap game for Gonzaga, and USF proving that really early.
Yeah, the shooting has just been off. They've got 7 offensive rebounds to USF's 2, and they're getting multiple shots per the last 3 possessions, and just have not been able to finalize it.
Yeah, Gonzaga tends to be one of the more efficient offenses in the WCC. Coming out of that last time out, Gonzaga is shooting 18% on the game as a team.
I mean, a lot of those are just bunnies. Mel and Yvonne is right at the rim in proper position, good movement, and it's just coming up short.
A lot of layups they've missed underneath, too. Have a feeling that'll get changed in the halftime break, as Plavina drives and got tripped up pretty badly. That'll be a first personal foul on Michaela Williams. I will say this, though, Connor, we've seen a pretty clean game so far. Not a lot of foul shots. As McDowell comes back in off the bench.
Not a lot of egregious fouls. Not a lot, really, that is disrupting the flow other than the offenses.
Even then, USF's in comparison better than the Zags, but not sterling. They're only shooting 31% as a team. Corner for Dickey. She likes the threes. That one around and off.
Not many situations would you find yourself only down 3 after shooting that poorly for an entire first period.
Interesting lineup the Zags have in here with about 3.5 minutes to go. Don't always see this combination of players together as Langer fires it hard off the backboard for what would have been an easy 2.
I'd love to see Ana Maria Rajoge assert herself a little better here.
That's a block on Langer.
Yeah, Rajoge has been playing solid defense. She's really the defensive anchor for them. That's why she starts. But I'd love to see her get more involved, like down low. And she's the one who is like drawing that biggest defender, and just her getting the ball opens up opportunities for Ejim and Williams and O'Connor.
Man, how aggressively do their point guards play with Gales and McDowell, huh?
Gales really hunts for those steals. You can tell that's how she's been doing so well on defense.
Foul on the floor, that's on USF as Sierra Walker's going to check back in. That was on McDowell. Her second personal. As Caitlin Trong will shoot free throws. Really has been amazing to see Caitlin, in a lot of ways, truly come into her own this year. In a lot of the ways, off the bench. You know, we talk about how common and how much in common she and her sister have in terms of statistics, but you know, Caitlin has shown herself this year to be a different player than her sister. She's more apt to put up a big 3. You know what I mean? Like she has her own identity as a shooter.
Yeah, and we really learned a lot about that when Kaylee went down with an injury in the tournament in Hawaii.
She sure did.
Earned MVP honors, and she showed that she can bear a lot more of that volume on offense, and I think she earned a lot more trust from the coaches.
Man, Yvonne Ejim. Block City. We so often think of her about as a steals machine with over 30 on the year, but she can go up and swat them away too.
Such a complete player. I mean, everything she does, very fundamentally sound. She doesn't take possessions off. She's always positioned well.
This fan base is salivating to see what she does next year in a starting role as a junior, because she's been so phenomenal as a 6th man. And USF wants a timeout. We're going to stay here on the WCC Network and talk a little bit about what this last weekend meant, Connor, to both of these teams, because on Thursday night when Gonzaga beat Pacific, BYU lost their first conference game of the year to Portland, which meant that game between Gonzaga and BYU on Saturday was for first place. With that loss, BYU reasserts itself into first place, and the Zags now a half game back. But the Zags get another shot at them on the 17th.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy playing at the Marriott Center.
Never is.
That's going to be possibly their last chance to get that big marquee win, something that shows that they can beat tournament quality teams.
And the truth of the matter is, in terms of the seeding for the tournament, this is at this point almost certainly, well, depending on what happens tonight, we'll see, almost certainly a 2-horse race between the Zags and BYU, but Portland and USF can beat anybody, and I don't think anybody can say otherwise at this point.
After that BYU game, it was a head scratcher at first, but when you understand how far Portland has come since last season and how they've steadily improved, it's not the craziest thing in the world.
And in case you at home weren't watching, Portland took the Zags down to the wire here just last week. Gotta get rid of it. 3 to shoot. Lucky Ejim was able to get that one off. Williams should have taken that shot from the corner. And then she redeems herself with a rebound, but it's stolen away by Cremili. Man, she was so aggressive. So good. Here she goes. Not afraid to do it herself. And yanked down by Yvonne.
The Dons haven't scored in the last 5 minutes, and the Zags haven't had a field goal in nearly last 6 minutes.
Yeah, the Zags 0 for 9 from the field. 1 for their last 13. Gotta think that's the reason they're kind of afraid to pull the trigger, right?
I see some hesitancy here.
5 to shoot again. They're running it down. Ejim, not afraid. The muscle, and one more. Now that was good looking. Ejim pacing the Zags. She's got 9 points, and this free throw can make it 10. This would be 10 out of their 18.
You can't be that dependent on free throws in the second half.
So she'll settle for 9 of 17 at the moment. The good news for the Zags, having played this whole game from behind until this point with a minute to go in the half, they've finally tied this thing up. 17-17, we're back to even.
They started to play more disciplined. They've started to slow down, figure their stuff out.
Camille, she'll get 2.
They know the shots will fall eventually, but just calming down and not trying to play to this hyper speed that they were in the first 2 minutes, that's going to be huge for them.
Abby O'Connor checks back in. And here's Camille. She got 25 against Pepperdine their last time out. Top 5 scorer in the West Coast Conference. 17.5 points a game, despite the fact that she's pretty quiet so far with 5. Six.
In a game like this, 6 is a lot.
Well, yeah, 6 out of 19 is a pretty good percentage. All right, 45 seconds to go in the first half. Every point's going to matter in this one. Swinging around to Walker. Sierra's only shot 1 3 tonight, and she missed it. O'Connor, not a bad look. Melody Kempton off her hands, USF ball.
Yeah, Walker only shooting 1 shot in the whole first half. It's got to change. She really is the person that gets them going from 3.
All right, no shot clock. 25 on the game clock to go in the first half. Dickey open for 3. Banks open.
That's a huge 3.
Quick 5-0 run for USF. And one last shot for the Zags. Trong 3. Answer! That was a big 3 for Kaylee Trong. One last shot for the Dons. Cormilli won't go down. And Connor, we thought this was going to be a close game, but we're going to have it like this the rest of the way, it feels like.
Yeah, the shooting will probably pick up in the second half, but USF finishing that half out strong. 5-0 run. That's a huge swing in this game, especially based on how low scoring we expect it to be. Gonzaga offense needs to finish.
We are halfway home in Spokane. USF 22, Gonzaga 20. Feels like we're going all 40 minutes in this one. We'll see you in a minute with the halftime show on the WCC Network on Stadium.
You guys make a quick stats graph. So second segment would be video highlights and stats.
Oh boy did
they, Connor.
Yeah.
And here's the numbers to prove it.
Halftime back here in Spokane. The Gonzaga Bulldogs down 2 to the USF Dons halfway home. 22-20 is our score. Back here courtside at halftime. Greg Talbot and Connor Gilbert with you riding shotgun tonight. And Connor, no other way to say it, man. We said at the top of this broadcast, if you were watching, this is a potential trap game. We know that USF is one of the hottest teams in the conference. They've won 6 of their last 7. This is going to go down all 40 minutes.
Looking that way, based on how rough the first half was offensively, Gonzaga 7 for 33, San Francisco 8 for 29.
What does Gonzaga need to do to get this offense moving? Because we saw, obviously, if you were watching, man, they missed a lot of layups, missed a lot of bunnies. They missed a good amount of shots that were high percentage shots. If those go down, this score's potentially different.
Yeah, I think they just need to keep doing the same things they've been doing. I think those shots are going to fall. I think they probably could move a little more and treat Dickey like more of a threat from 3. She has 9 points all on 3s.
We'll be talking a little bit more about those stats and analytics as we get to the second segment of the halftime show after the break. We'll also show you the top performers from the first half, and if you've been watching, you know who they are. We're back in a minute with more of the halftime show on the WCC Network on Stadium. Dons by 2. "20 played, 20 to go here at the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane. The USF on top of Gonzaga at halftime, 22-20, and that is not a common occurrence, Connor Gilbert. The Zags in this building almost always ahead at the half.
The last game was a tale of two halves, and I'm sure Lisa Fortier is hoping that this game is a tale of two halves too. She'd love to see something change here in the second half.
So there's the Zags huddle. Lisa Fortier talking to him. What do you think the halftime message was in terms of strategy? Because we know what she's talking about in terms of getting shots to go down low, but they've got to do something about USF's ball movement.
Yeah, I think that she's probably got something more planned to better deal with those screens. I think they're really benefiting off of the slithering off those screens, like I mentioned earlier, and they've got to be better to switch or stay with their guy, something to deal with it, because they're allowing the movement to just overtake them.
Same starting five out there for both teams to get us underway in half number two. Kostick had a really quiet first half for USF. Didn't play a ton, but she's out there to start half number two. In case you're just joining us, Gonzaga an abysmal shooting first half, 21% as a team. USF not much better, 27.5%, but Gonzaga traditionally takes good shots, is efficient. Something's got to change in half number two, as Kermilli thought she was fouled there. USF gets a second chance. Dickey. Great move, foul? And Anna Maria Verjoga can't believe it. Gobsmacked, jaw on the floor. We'll take a second look.
That's just contact you don't need to do. I mean, Anna Maria.
Look at that, she says, me?
She was past her at that point. She really doesn't need to, especially with how demonstrative her hand was.
And Dickey puts that one up and in. Give her 10 points on this game now. Her shooting, part of the reason that USF is in the lead. She's hit 3 shots from beyond the arc. 9 of that out of their 24 points have come from her three-point shooting.
She's been pressuring, getting under the guards on perimeter defense. I mean, she's been an important part of this as well. You can't forget about her.
Strong. She had a big 3 right before time expired in the first. Help put the Zags back within 2. 5 to shoot. Sierra Walker really quiet in the first half. Finds O'Connor. And Abby's coming so close on those threes tonight, but still nothing has gone down. She's 0 for 6 from the field. O'Connor 0 for 5 from 3.
And that's not even a bad 3. That's a good
It's a good shot.
5. Yeah. I'm glad that she's not stopped shooting, and that's not a foul.
That was all ball from Verjoga. Make that now 29 blocks on the year for her. Leading the team far and away. One of the things she's best at. There's Melody underneath. And once again, they miss an easy bunny. Second chance goes down. They needed that one, Connor.
Kempton's shaking her head. She wanted the first one, but the second will do.
Here's McDowell. She was really, really looking great running the offense in the first quarter. Didn't touch the ball a whole lot in the second. It's more of a passer, though. And she'll shoot. Not a bad one around the screen, and Melody coming in really aggressively for the rebound. I think she wants a couple of good minutes here to spark the team.
If I didn't know Mel, I'd say she's going for the double-double, but those kinds of things don't really concern her.
Melody's got 6 rebounds now. That's what she averages a game. She will end with more.
Two near steals.
Both of these teams have forced a lot of turnovers. 8 Zags turnovers, 7 for the Dons. Kermilli sees the lane and the angle. Good move.
Strong body control for the finish.
Not so much Abby O'Connor could do there when she has the lead. Oh, Langer came flying into Melody. That's definitely going to be a foul. She didn't mean to, but it doesn't matter. Take another look at this one. Ouch.
Yep, that'll do.
Couple of subs in off the bench. Yvonne Egypt, no surprise for the Zags. Caitlin Strong as well. Send Verjoge and O'Connor to the bench. So this is a guard-heavy lineup and a shooter's lineup.
Which kind of contrary to what she was running with in the first half. She was switching in bigs a lot, trying to see if she could press that size advantage, and the finishes just weren't there. So this makes sense.
And there's Ejim up and underneath. Give her 11 points. The Zags are back within 2. This was the halftime deficit. Another turnover. Make that 8 for USF. Sierra needs a 3. That one was just off the mark, but it was the right strength. And Langarita's going to come back in off the bench for the Dons.
See this mismatch with Langarita and Walker. It's a switch back. That's good for them.
USF is so good with creating mismatches, mostly off screens.
And here we have another one here. Langarita on Trong. That's an easy matchup.
Could have sworn there was going to be a foul on that play. I thought I saw some contact on the elbow going up, but the Zags will take it. Let's take a look at this one more time. Thought this was going to be a foul. Guess not.
Still a strong take for Langarita. She understanding where she's at right there, and like that no one else is going to be coming, and that Melody Kempton is going to be off of her feet when she's coming towards her.
Ejim. Oh, let her cook.
A little dream shake.
Pretty from Yvonne Ejim. 13 of the Zags' 26. She's got half their points in a tie game. And here comes the McCarthy Athletic Center crowd, and here comes USF silencing them.
Just another strong take from Langarita, understanding that high-low action, moving the ball down. Stuff they need to be doing.
And Eliza Hollingsworth will check in. Man, she was so great against Pacific on Thursday. And here's Langarita. The deuce and the damage.
It looks like Hollingsworth really here is like a defensive buffer and as a spacer when they're in need of some kind of ulterior scoring.
Well, what they need is the three-point shooters on the floor to start shooting like it as Trong gets that one down. Thankfully, she's got him awake. The Zags now 3 for 16 from downtown, and Trong's got 2 out of the 3. Bree Salandine has the 3rd. There's Egypt, another steal, 33 on the year and 2 on the other end.
First lead of the game for the Bulldogs. They've been trailing since mid into this game.
Their first lead. And it's not a huge crowd here on a Monday night, but they're getting loud. Can Dickey respond? Another round of screen. It's Gales. Zags looking to extend. Good defensive stop.
Tricky shot from Gales.
Got 3 three-point shooters on the floor right now, and Hollingsworth can shoot the 3 as well. Again. Oh, Egypt almost set this place on fire. Next dead ball takes us to a timeout. Looking to kick. Langarita for 3. Left her wide open. Lucky it didn't go down. Zags will push. They're going to take their time and look for a good shot. Don't want to force it and give up this lead. Trong. Little space off the screen. That was a great play design, and USF's going to get this one back on offense, trying to tie it or take the lead. On the other side of this break, 3:49 to go in the third. This thing's going all the way down to the wire, but the Zags finally have the lead on the WCC network on Stadium.
Good reaction.
All right, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, for the first time tonight, finally have the lead. A hair under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. 31-29 the score. And Connor, the big stat that jumps out to me as we get back to action here, 19 out of 31 points for Gonzaga off the bench.
And as we mentioned, Ejim is a huge part of that, but it really feels like they're starting to settle down. They have this lineup feels like it's working. They're managing the offense. They're not doing anything too risky. They're playing like they have a lead. They've had to get back to this position, but I think they're in a good place right now. They just need to keep moving the ball like they have been.
Langer trying to pick Trong's pocket. She almost did twice. Running the shot clock down. One more for Kaylin Trong around and off. Aggressive, and here comes USF trying to tie or take the lead. Left that one off for McDowell, who was straight up not expecting it. O'Connor keeps possession. Foul before the shot. Wave it off. It's a push.
Turnovers were an issue for GU in the first half, the reason why USF got out to this lead, but now turnovers becoming sort of an issue for the Dons.
11.
The last two turnovers they've had have created fast break opportunities.
And Gales checks back in off the bench for USF. Hollingsworth. There we go. Had a couple go down against Pacific on Thursday. Clearly this is a skill set they want to keep encouraging her with, Connor.
It's really what she's there for, and it's a huge momentum swinger.
Zags the 5-point lead, their biggest of the game by far.
Hardly feels safe, though.
No. We've seen USF go on 5 to 7 point runs in the blink of an eye.
Their offense has been really erratic in that sense. Like, they've shown that they can just rip off points like that. Seems like an ill-advised shot from Camille.
Camille is one of the best three-point shooters in the WCC. She came into this game having made 49 this year, and the threes she's taken tonight have just been not well chosen. She's 0 for 3 from beyond the arc.
I get that one because you're running low on the shot clock, but I feel like there's other options there, especially how deep she was. They can't be wasting possessions right now, or else they're going to start digging themselves a hole.
She swats it and then goes behind the back to bring it up court. Man, is she good, and finds McDowell cutting underneath. What a sequence for USF. That was an amazing 15 seconds.
Just great vision from Camille, and then better IQ just moving the ball to Dickey.
So she swats it away, goes behind the back, finds McDowell cutting, who finds Dickey in the corner. That was really something.
That's just how easy it is.
Williams, nice angle, couldn't finish. Kempton the aggressive rebound. Trong, brutal around and out.
Can we get these rims checked? Because that's like the 4th shot that I've seen rim in and out.
Zags 4 for 19 from downtown, 21%. Third chance on this possession, got that one to go. It's Caitlin Trong.
She wanted an and one there too.
She only had 1 point in this game up until then. Give her 3 now. Inside a minute to go in the third. Foul on the floor on GU. And Ajamin Verjoga will check back in. And Kaylee Trong will enter the game as well.
Lisa's never afraid to switch up lineup. She likes to have everyone play a similar amount of time, even really dependable starters. So we'll see how they can fare on defense against a lineup that's pretty guard heavy right now.
O'Connor playing tight defense on Camille. And USF cares about this possession. You can tell they want the timeout so they can take this one, Connor, in off the inbound and try to get one more shot off here with 8 on the shot clock.
And you can get a quality shot in 8 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Worst case scenario, Camille shoots it.
And there's a good chance it goes down. Tell you though, Camille not her normal self tonight. 3 for 13 from the field, and 2 out of her 8 points came from the free throw line. So even though she's been crazy effective as a ball handler and running the offense on screens and stuff, she's not been sensational shooting.
Yeah, and that's a sign of a truly polished player. She started off pretty strong. She got the offense going for them, and as her shooting has been a little erratic, you've seen how well Dickey has shot. She's been moving the ball. I mean, the vision on that fast break, you can see how smart she is moving the ball. It's just a dual threat guard. Walker's still 0 for 3.
We were saying at the beginning of the game that Sierra Walker was going to be our player to watch, considering she and Camille are 2 of the very best 3-point shooters in the West Coast Conference. Neither of them have hit a single 3 tonight. Actually, between the 2 of them, a combined 0 for 6 from downtown. That's a pretty amazing stat.
Walker is top 50 in NC2A in field goal percentage. So that's pretty absurd for today.
Zags leading by 4 with 41 seconds on the clock here in the third. Gales. Man, did she turn that on quick. She hit the Jets fast. And it's back down to a 2-point game with a 2-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Shot clock at 15, game clock at 17. Zags will hold. Trong to Trong. Around the net again. One last heave for McDowell. They didn't get it off in time. 3 down, 1 to go, and we said it was going to go down to the wire. And it is at this rate. 36-34, Zags trying to bounce back after an absolute gut-busting heartbreaker against BYU on Saturday, trying to get right. But it's a 2-point game down the stretch, and we're back with the climax after this on the WCC Network on Stadium. All right, back to the start of the fourth quarter tonight on the WCC Network on Stadium. Zags 36, Dons 34. And a chance for USF to tie this game at the free throw line. It'll be Kennedy Dickey for them, trying to make it 35 and then 36.
Ejim's second foul.
But a clean game, not a lot of fouls. And here's Dickey to make it a 1-point affair. And she's got it.
Langer and Williams are the only players in this game in relative foul trouble with 3 each, and the way it's going right now, it doesn't seem like an issue.
Dickey had a double-double the last game out against Pepperdine, 13 and 13. Right now she's got 15 points and 7 boards. She might be able to get there again depending on her rebounding acumen here in the fourth. Reese Sallenbein back into play. She didn't get much time since the end of the second quarter. Beautiful shot. That's eventually going to go down for her.
So fluid with the ball.
Yeah. That was good looking. Really great play down low. Good stuff from Sallenbein. She's now 2 for 4 from the field, and her 2 shots were important. She had that one right there, and then the big 3. Speaking of big 3s, Dickey is sending them down, and USF retakes the lead with 9 minutes to go.
Dickey is on fire tonight.
Yeah. 19 points, 5 for 10 from downtown.
It's not for lack of defense either.
No. The defense we've seen tonight has been pretty good. Langer comes back in and replaces Gales for the Dons.
Dickey made her first 2 and they learned their lesson.
Oh, that was a great sequence. That was not a perfect pass from Verjoge. And Ejim just able to collect and go back up the other side with the hands.
That's the great part about having a 6'5" post who knows how to move the ball.
Great rebound by Verjoge. Tenuous lead for GU, just a point. Joge lost the handle and recovers. She doesn't love to shoot, but she will here, and she gets a big one.
Yvonne is fired up too.
Crowd gets going when she makes a basket. They love it. Go off of Trong. Stay with the Dons. Well, I'll tell you, like we said in the first half, not a huge crowd because this is a rescheduled game and a Monday night, but the people who are here when this game has been close have gotten loud. If this thing goes down the way we think it's going to feel like a men's game in here in about 6 minutes.
Yeah, these fans care a lot about Gonzaga women's basketball.
Yep.
There's not many as devoted fan bases as Gonzaga women's fans.
It's a true fan base, and it's Dickey again. Give her 21.
She is feeling her oats today.
Now she's working defense against Ejim, the two best players on the floor tonight. And Ejim doesn't get the better of her that time as Dickey pulls down her 8th rebound. She is on her way to a double-double. And the fans can't believe they're going to whistle Abby O'Connor for that one, and they are.
Given college women's basketball refs' love of calling jump balls, I thought that would have been a jump ball. But there was a little bit too much contact there.
Go off, Connor.
They call a lot of jump balls.
They do. Still a 1-point game. Chance for USF to take the lead here. Still Dickey and Ejim going head-to-head. McDowell had space for 3 and connects. 2-point lead for USF.
Joining the 3 party. This is not good territory.
Yeah, all of a sudden, the Dons have opened up from 3, 7 for 19. That's 37% as a team. Gonzaga shooting 20% as a team. That's not going to get it done. Got to hit your 2s at this point. Foul. A late whistle from the refs. Zags bench reacting like they're surprised at whatever the call is. It's on Langer. That's her 4th personal foul.
See if she's going to get subbed out. I don't know if she will.
7 minutes left, and she has not been that much of a shooter tonight. Only made 1 3-pointer, and that's all she did, scoring-wise. All right, USF breaking the screens, Bacon presses here with a tie game.
The Zags need to commit more to the trap on that press if they want it to be effective.
That looked like a pretty clean sequence to me, but they're going to whistle the Zags. Might be Yvonne Ejim, and it is. Third personal, but with 6.5 minutes to go, that's not that bad. Also, that foul, not that bad. Look at Abby O'Connor's face. She says, "You gotta be kidding me." All right, USF trying to retake the lead here. We've seen a couple of lead changes these last couple of minutes.
Great solid board.
Caustic. No foul, clean by Yvonne. Zags trying to break the tie. Kempton, tough angle on that.
Second too late.
Dickey.
Can't let her shoot.
Might be time to start double teaming her when she has the ball straight up.
I don't know if it even matters. The way she's been shooting, she could pull up from Cremili range right now. She's really feeling herself.
Running the clock down, 5 to shoot. There is Cremili. Didn't need a lot of space. And Kempton with the rebound. Melody kind of quiet in the second half.
Yeah, she hasn't gotten the touches that she got in the first half. I think that a few of those misses might have better to just understand that she might be having a rough shooting night, and she's there to play defense and get screens like that. That was a great, solid screen, solid board.
Third chance, and the Zags will finally get a couple at the free throw line here. Man, Abby O'Connor's so close all night now, 0 for 6 from 3. The last couple have been so close.
It feels like she's knocking on the door, but she just hasn't gotten them to fall.
And Eliza Hollingsworth back in. She made a 3 recently. And here's Melody Kempton trying to break the tie. Gonzaga 6 for 9 from the line as a team. USF, a perfect 7 for 7.
Walker still hasn't made a shot yet, except she has 6 boards.
Not the usual stat line for Sierra. The 6th-year senior out of Oregon City.
No, but she's a team player. She'll do whatever is necessary to get them an advantage. Most of the time it's 3-point shooting.
Five on the clock for Camille. Pure. Dons take the lead again. (46-45). Hollingsworth, she loves that inside-out game. That is going to be a signature shot of hers for the next 2 years.
What I really like there is the board from Dickey. She was ready for that shot, and she had Mel out of position, which is where Mel gets her board. She has to box you out.
Would you look at this movement from USF?
That could have been a scary three-pointer there. I love how the Chongs, when they pass the ball down the court, they pass to where they're going to be, not where they are.
Zags taking the time here. Wanted to slow it down and look for a good shot. Kempton had an angle at the basket there, but she didn't see it. Inside 10 to shoot. Strong's just going to have to get rid of it at this point. Hollingsworth, 3 on the clock. Eliza almost had that one go down on a Hail Mary. USF keeps the lead. 3:30 to go. Camille, MVP of this team. You can see why she's one of the best scorers in the WCC. Top 5 in the conference in scoring. Timeout on the floor, and we will take it with them here on the WCC network. We knew we were going down to the final minutes, and that is the ticket we are punching. 48-45 Dons. Back for the home stretch here in Spokane. Dons by 3 after a couple of big shots Melody Kempton trying to cut it down. A great pass to a cutting Anna Maria Verjoge. And it's back to a 1-point game with a hair over 3 left. USF has the shooters and the scorers tonight. Gonzaga's best player offensively, not even close, Yvonne Ejim, is not on the floor. And a foul on GU. Underneath this will be Cremelia to inbound and then look for her to shoot. Instead they'll send McDowell to pass. There's Cremelia off the inbound. Could have told you that one was coming. Lucky it didn't go down.
That could have been a dagger.
All right, down to a 1-point game. Zags looking for the efficient shot here. Five to shoot. Verjoge. Huge for the redshirt senior. Veteran shot. Zags retake the lead. 2:15 left. And here come the Lady Zag fans.
Williams on Cremelia. This is an interesting defensive substitution here. It's the length, just trying to get around her on the screens.
Kostick wasn't even looking to shoot. They were so set on getting Dickey the ball, they didn't do anything else. And the Zags want a timeout. Well, that was a pretty important sequence there, Connor Gilbert.
And this is an important possession here. You can see why 48 called timeout. Look at this. Mel with the penetration. Great finish by Verjoge, who's
really
been
great,
thriving off of the deflected attention on Kempton.
Verjoge hasn't been taking a lot of shots tonight, but when she's taken them and they mattered, they've gone down. And again, here's a look at the standings of the WCC here. The Zags need this. At this pace, it is a 2-horse race to win the regular season championship. The Zags get BYU one more time, but they can't lose before then.
Zags have no margin for error here.
1:50 to go, a 1-point game. They need this win. Foul on Kostick is the early indication. Guess her feet were moving. One more time. Check her feet. Oh, she might have been set.
She could have been.
But either way, Trong will go to the free throw line. Kaylin's only got 3 points tonight. Not a good time to be missing free throws. The Zags now only 7 for 11 from the line. USF has not missed a single one. And she's got that one.
When we see Ejim subbed back in here, it felt like it was natural for the closing minute here. And Walker out.
So Yvonne Ejim and Abby O'Connor in. This is a forward-heavy lineup for the Zags. The only true guard out there is Kaylee Trong.
40 understands they're going to have to win this with defense and using the press properly. But that's just a breakdown there.
This is a really good defensive lineup, too. USF to inbound, 90 seconds. Ejim another block.
Dangerously close to a foul.
Big time forward, her third of the night. Big shot for the Zags here, can make this a 2-possession game.
What a take.
And that's the big shot we're talking about. Kaylee Trong. Big move for a big player.
Absorbs the contact, gets her body positioning right, finishes. It's the N1. Huge moment.
This could make it a 5-point game for GU, virtually ensuring that USF would need a big late 3 here. And they'll send Gales back on the floor for USF. Huge shot. Zags by 5, 1:10 to go.
Kennel's starting to get loud.
Back to Langarita. She had a good look. Speaking of good look, Gales right in the middle of the paint. And a second chance. Ejim overplayed her hand and then a foul.
Great cuts by Gales, though.
She did a lot without moving. Like, that was a lot of fakes.
Yeah, she understood where the ball was coming, and she knew that she was probably going to have to draw a foul on the second one.
All right, here's Gales. She has not been to the free throw line tonight, but these are important.
Dons haven't missed a free throw tonight.
To make it a one-possession game. And it's Ejim with the rebound. Zags want a timeout, and it broke their way. They get what they want. And it stays a 4-point lead for Gonzaga. If the Zags end up winning this game, that Kaylee Trong shot's going to be the play of the game and probably the reason why, Connor.
Yeah, I would say so. They need to manage this next possession well, though. They need to take all the time off the clock. But even then, that's still 17 seconds. They still have to play some strong defense.
And there it is one more time. It'll be interesting to see what lineups get sent out here on the floor. Inside a minute to go.
We got Walker back in the game. John sticking with what's been working for them. Understandable.
Zags ball. And a 4-point lead. Does USF think they have to foul? I guess not yet. Really going to wind this one down. USF's not going to have a lot of time to make this a one-possession game on the other end. Huge shot from Kaylin Trong. That was massive. It's a 6-point game. USF needs to start putting down threes here, and their last 2 possessions. They got to get a shot up.
Not really moving with any kind of
They're out of time.
Speed. They need to get a shot off.
USF wants a timeout, and it feels like they just wasted 5 seconds unnecessarily. There's 10 seconds on the clock, and they're down 6.
I felt like there's got to be some miscommunication there. No urgency on that initial possession, and then Wiedenauer understands that, calls a timeout. She's probably saying, "What are you guys doing? You need to get a shot off." And it has to be a 3.
Well, the Zags, if this was the New York Times election needle, it just swung very the Gonzaga Bulldogs' way.
I'd like to see the probability chart after those 2 Trong.
Those 2 Trong baskets just sent it through the roof. And look at the Kennel Club, happy to be here. USF held the lead for most of this game. But here's the important stat, Connor. As they get set to inbound, the Dons have not made a bucket in the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And not even Dickey can change their fate now.
She can't pass.
Ball game. That's it. Zags win a nail-biter.
Holding on to win that one. They're going to have to be more efficient in the future, but that showed a lot of guts there against a USF team that was refusing to go away until the 4th quarter.
Gonzaga 55, USF 49. The Zags are still a half game back of BYU in the conference title chase, but they're not going to get chased that easily. Yvonne Ejim, you bet she's our player of the game. 17 and 8, 2 steals, 3 blocks. They didn't win this game without her, Connor, not even close.
You can make an argument for her for player of the game almost every game, but this one, in that first half lull, she was the only one keeping them going. If not for her, that might have been too much of a deficit to overcome.
Really, really important there for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Yvonne Ejim, like I said, our player of the game. Also, Kaylee Tronglate, huge performance.
That was incredibly clutch. You got to give props to USF, though.
All right, let's take a look at a couple highlights from this game as we get ready to say goodbye to Yvonne Ejim. Just sensational on both ends of the floor. Like we said, 3 blocks, couple of steals, and a huge, huge 17 points. All of them either from the free throw line or the field. No 3-pointers, didn't need them.
She's just a classic player.
All right, so coming up next for the Gonzaga Bulldogs, couple more games coming up this week. They are on the road at Santa Clara on Thursday night, the 10th, and then they get USF again on the Hilltop next Saturday.
And they can't take that one lightly, especially after this game. They know what USF is capable of, and it's going to be just like that Portland series where they learn a lot more about each other in that first game. The second one's going to be even tougher.
Zags are not back here again until the 17th of February when St. Mary's comes in, so it's going to be a little bit of a break until we see them again. But Connor Gilbert, that was a big game tonight. They're not saying goodbye in the conference title chase yet.
No, absolutely not. USF showed that how much they've improved, and Gonzaga showed that they had the will to win late.
Yeah, the Dons had won 6 of their last 7 games. Really important win to kind of shake them off that before they come down the home stretch. All right, so this was a wonderful game tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in on the WCC Network on Stadium. I cannot wait to be in this building for the St. Mary's game in a couple of weeks. This Gonzaga women's basketball fan base, which is one of the most dedicated women's basketball fan bases in the country, they've seen a couple really great games this weekend. They had BYU, didn't go the way the Zags wanted, but it was a real nail-biter. They had this, a lot to look forward to the next few weeks.
It's going to be electric.
All right, so for Connor Gilbert and the rest of our WCC Network crew, I'm Greg Talbot saying thank you so much for joining us from the kennel, where the Zags come away with a clutch last-minute win on top of the Dons, 55-49. You've been watching the WCC Network tonight on Stadium.
Chris, great job, buddy.